Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on the show I have husband and wife business partners, Chad and Christie Elliott. Chad is a pastor, Christie is a lender. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
You guys are in Georgia. Remind me which part of Georgia?
So just north, about 45 minutes north of Atlanta, in a town called Canton.
Is that still considered Greater Atlanta, or is this like too far to be considered Greater Atlanta?
No, we're actually we're really the last town that's considered Metro Atlanta. Yeah.
So I'm in Metro Dallas, and
Okay.
I grew up in New Jersey. So I grew up 27 miles from New York City, but we did not at all consider ourselves New York City. We might as well have been in a different world.
Right.
I'm now basically an hour from Dallas, but it's Metro Dallas. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
interesting how things
Oh, yeah.
change.
I don't know that we consider ourselves Metro Atlanta up here, but
Probably not.
we still are technically.
I mean, I'm closer to Oklahoma than I am to Dallas, but I'm in a town called Denton. Any
Okay, yeah.
Dentonite will tell
No,
you we're Metro Texas. You know, we're Metro. And I say, wow, Texas, we do things. I was from San Antonio, lived in San Antonio 5 years, and now Dallas up here. But just things are different. But I digress. I always like to start off at the top of the show, guys, by asking, how did you get into the real estate space?
Oh, that's a pretty good story. You want
Yeah.
to start with that?
Well, when we first got married, we were young. He was 22 and I was 20.
Yep.
And we got pregnant right away. And so he was working and I was staying home. We had very little income. And my brother invited us to buy property to rent out together. And so we did. And we ended up buying 3 over the next few years. It was actually not a great experience. We had some shady lenders back in that time around 04.
Oh, yeah.
So we kind of got dragged into things that we really didn't want to at that point.
Hmm.
But we were able to redeem the whole situation eventually. So,
Mhm. Yes.
So that
Yeah,
was how you got in, the
That's how we
family.
got- Yeah. Yeah. We were luckily, like she said, like her father let us live in one of his rental properties for free. We just had to pay taxes and, keep it up and all that kind of stuff. So instead of taking that money and putting it anywhere else that we would normally pay for rent and whatever, we started sticking in real estate.
So, Chad, do you come from a real estate family?
Nope.
Christy, it sounds like your family was involved in some level.
yeah, my dad had a few properties. It was more like when he would buy something, he would just never sell it. But he didn't really have, and this is kind of where we started too. Like
Yeah.
we just were like, okay, we have a rental, but you're not really making the most out of it, just keeping it and holding it and not doing anything else with it, not really understanding the tax benefit from it.
Yeah.
Having a plan of what to do to grow it over time.
Yeah.
So our first ones were kind of a not necessarily a waste because they did help, give us a very slow on ramp.
Yep.
But honestly, part of our experiences from back then is what made me want to be a lender because we had such a bad experience. And but I love the numbers and working out and problem solving. So it became a good fit later down the road.
And the thing for us is like we didn't have anybody that was speaking into that for us. The only people that spoke into us weren't scaling their own businesses. They had just bought some rental property, or they had a house left over they moved out of, and they just rented it to family or something like that. So it wasn't really developing a business of real estate. They just might have had a property or two and they would rent it out. So it wasn't scaling, and we just didn't have anybody speaking into that for us.
So then you saw something. It sounds like, Christy, you saw something with the lender. You said, I didn't like this experience. And then, Chad, this is probably very new to you. So you're like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah. Well, and so
He's
in
the
our
entrepreneur
yeah,
anyway.
I'm the risk taker in the relationship. So like it was fun. Like it it was a blast. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, what are we getting into?"
Yeah.
But it was a great learning. There were great learning experiences for sure. That then led into us wanting more. Like we wanted to do more, and finally realized that, man, this thing can actually turn into a legit business.
I have two questions from there. So first, the importance of family in real estate, because you were able to effectively house hack. It wasn't like you bought a duplex, but you were living with family and saving money.
Right.
That's
There's a
exactly
lot
right.
of people that don't have that opportunity,
Right.
and a lot of people who have that opportunity, but aren't really, ripping the cover off the ball, so to speak, and saving as much as they can and looking at different opportunities. Christy had the background, family maybe had a couple properties, so there was that there. For you, Chad, this was entirely new, and then you had the bad experience from the lender. But all in all, you kind of had the foundational, ability to start something new. Christy, at what point did you get into lending yourself?
Just 5 years ago. So in 2020, we added on to our house, and my mother-in-law moved in with us, and I was like, we've got enough adults in the house, especially after COVID and we were all stuck inside. I was like, I want to work full time now. So that was when I made that transition.
Yeah.
And Chad, while you were you doing real estate activities before this 5-year period, or what did the business look like for you?
Yeah, we bought that stuff along before then, and we actually ended up selling all 3 of those properties. Now unfortunately, we'd probably tell you now we wish we wouldn't have sold them, but the neighborhood had kind of gone downhill. We had a couple of bad tenants, and again, nobody speaking into, hey, this is how you overcome these things. So we felt like it was time for us to get out. We got out and invested in a few more things, businesses and, whatever from there. And then we ended up coming back into real estate with a commercial property that she actually found from I think a real estate agent that
I had signed up for some, some agent to send their new listings or whatever. And so it popped up in Cherokee County. I was like, this looks like a really good deal. And this was at the end of 2021. And so when I started working full time, I had only worked part time. We basically just kept saving my income for investing because we knew we weren't where we wanted to be to retire. And I was 38 at the time. So you would have been about 40. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess 39 and 41 when we bought that property. And so the end of 21, at that point, we just had the commercial duplex. And then 22, everything started snowballing.
Then we got into short-term rentals from there.
So 21 onward, kind of the business pivoted, and you really started to focus in on how can we really, really make the most in real estate.
That's it.
Yeah.
We got serious about it at that point and realized that we could really make a go at this. So
I like to ask people this because, you were involved in real estate for years, right? But it started to change in 21. Chrissy, you found this deal through, it sounds like a realtor, had new listing. What was it about that time period that made y'all decide we're going to really double, triple down into this.
Well,
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
we had bought this ice house business, like one of the standalone ice machines, like self-serve.
Yeah.
And we were constantly having to go fix it. And we improved it, and then we were able to sell it for a profit. So we had this little bit of money sitting there, and we were like, what are we going to do with this? And then we found the commercial duplex. So that was half of the down payment for that property. And then, that was the end of 21. We purchased that. And then the beginning of 22, of course, in 2020, when I first became a lender and rates were so low,
Yeah.
we refinanced into a 15-year loan on our house at 2% rate. It was great. And then we were like, what the heck are we doing? Like, equity's not making us money. So January of 22, we took out $200,000 in our house. We did a cash out refi and started investing in real estate.
So you
And
guys
that's
must be big fans of like Burr.
We
Yeah.
are, yes.
I think
We haven't
that
made it to the last part. though.
It's funny. Yeah, we haven't made it to the last part to refinance yet from all our stuff. We still kind of,
We've been
we're
holding
waiting
on.
for that. We're waiting
well,
for
you're three. What is it? 4 R's. So you're 3 of the R's there.
that. Here we are, yeah.
You know, when I think about budding real estate entrepreneurs, I've had so many people on this show here. It's one thing to be able to do real estate for a handful of years. It's another thing to be able to do it for, 10, 15, 20 years, right? And
Yeah.
you're coming from 2021 when y'all really doubled down, tripled down in the business to now. Different market now, right?
Oh,
Right.
yeah, totally different market
Yeah.
now. Absolutely. Yeah, for
And
sure.
so-
And sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say as a lender, it's completely different.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's really funny. And that's what I was going to say. Like, our properties have interest rates from 4% to 8.125%, I think. Like we've bought with all of it. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, you can make money in real estate no matter what the interest rates are. So
Yeah.
like, you just have to look at the whole deal, because I think people get so scared just looking at that one thing. And it's, it matters, but it's not the only factor to consider.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be huge having a lender and wife who is, in the same
Oh,
team as you. It's got to be like, this
Yeah.
can't get any. I have the best source of information on rates and everything.
I recommend it to anybody.
I'm saying, if you're a real estate entrepreneur, I mean, I got my real estate license. I really didn't plan to get and use my real estate license. I'll probably pick up a couple listings, but I'm really more passionate about investing and wholesaling.
Yeah.
Honestly, it sometimes comes into conflict, because if you're an
Right.
investor, there's a little bit of a conflict there. But I've always said, man, I wish I had someone on my team who was a lender. When you were going through that process, Christy, was this a thing like, hey, this could really help our business as well, or did you just see this opportunity?
I don't know. It was really like just a personality fit that I've always felt like a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And it's like a conflict in me, because I love the numbers and the analytical side. So I had started studying accounting at one point, and the numbers just put me to sleep. Like the homework, I was like, I can't do this. This is horrible. So I found mortgages, and it was numbers and people. So
Yeah.
it's a perfect fit. And then, just the experience that we had been through, not enjoying it at all and getting really bad information. We were at the closing table, and we were purchasing it as an investment, had told the guy all the way through we were. And then they were like, it says that you're going to live here. And we were like, what? Like, it was
Yeah,
so
it was
shady.
so shady.
And so, that was obviously, like I said, part of my passion and wanting to teach people and do a better job.
Yeah.
So
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Chad, when you're looking at deals now, what's the conversation that you have maybe in your head? Like, hey, I know Christie's going to think this is a good deal. This is a bad deal. You know, are you, what's the conversation like between y'all? Are you like, hey, what kind of a rate can we get on this? Is this something that's financeable?
Oh, yeah. And the funny thing is like even our last short-term rental that we found, we're laying in the bed early one morning, and we both have our phones looking at Redfin and Zillow. And literally, we find this property almost at the same time, and we look at each other. Did you see that? You know, and that's really how it goes. Like,
and I say no every time.
Yeah, she
like,
goes,
no,
no, we can't do it. And then, you know.
So you, Christy, you're like the more, less risk take. Chad is the let's dive in, let's do this.
Yeah, which makes us such a great team. Because I'm like, go, let's make this happen, man. Where are we going to find our next one? And she's like, okay. Well, let's slow down just a little bit. Let's analyze this. Let's look at, all the details. And so it makes a really good team.
You need the saver and the spender.
You do. Yeah. You need the gas and the brake.
Yeah, you do. I can't imagine a better partner and a better team. I really can't. I can't. Yeah. I think a lot of people really struggle with this side of the business too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, and that's we've got multiple couples right now, just friends and that are in our church and all that kind of stuff that we're walking through this, clients of hers that we're helping them get started. And it is a lot of trying to figure out the roles that each person's going to play, especially a couple that's doing it together. And who's going to take what task and who's going to make what decisions and things like that. I think if you can figure out that piece, man, it makes it a whole lot better, like from a business standpoint, but a whole lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, because we always tell people, like, they'll say, what's the first thing to do? And we're like, you need to study your butt off.
Educate yourself.
Educate. And someone needs to geek out about all the details. So you need someone that's going to geek out about each side of it. And that's really, I think, one of the biggest questions you have to ask yourself getting started is, can I enjoy learning about this? Because if you just don't enjoy it at all, you're going to be a really bad property manager. You're not going to make good money because you're just not going to make it the best that you can.
That's right.
How hard was that test, Christy? It's RMLO, right? That's the test, right?
NMLS. Yeah.
For her, it wasn't that hard.
Okay, that's good. It was
real smart.
I like to make silly phrases to remember all the guidelines, so I sailed right through it. It was fine.
I tell people this: the Texas real estate exam is so hard. It's so darn hard. I've spoken with brokers on this show from other states who took the Texas exam and they failed it. They're brokers. And I said that this Texas exam is no joke. So I'm like, I kind of want to get my loan originator license, but I'm like, if it's anything like that, I'm not ready for that headache.
And it's nothing, you learn all the laws, but it's really nothing about what you actually do in the job.
Here's all the laws, but don't use it. You're not an attorney.
Use it.
It's just a hoop to jump through. That's all it is.
It is. Like, the company's going to keep you compliant.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned a couple different verticals within the real estate space: commercial, short term. What's your buy box right now, or what properties are you looking at, or is it very open ended?
Well, we feel like we've got 4 short-term rental cabins in Blue Ridge, Georgia, which is about an hour, 15 minutes north of us. So we've got that, and we feel like we'll probably stick with those 4 in that side of our portfolio for a while until we change our structure. We've got the commercial property, and we would love to find more commercial property. Like if we could discover some more of those things. We just haven't come across a ton of those deals lately, especially like the one we have. But right now, we want to continue to grow our residential side and even get into multifamily. That's the thing that we just haven't broached yet is what that looks like because I feel like that's our next step.
I mean, we have a duplex. Well, actually, I guess 2 duplexes. With one house that rents as a duplex, and then a triplex, and then we have another triplex, but it's not rentable. It's in bad situation. We're going to tear it down and rebuild it into a quadplex.
Yeah. And now I want to get into like 16 unit apartment buildings and stuff like that.
You mentioned short term. Is this Airbnb?
That's right. Yep.
So for folks who are looking at Airbnb versus
Mhm.
these other avenues, Airbnb is more intensive as far as changeover and as far as, dealing with communications and so on and so forth. But you're
Yeah.
also potentially less likely to deal with, squatters, and there's also
That's right.
potentially, more revenue.
There is
What's
for sure.
what's your feedback on the model?
We actually love it.
We
And
do.
again, I think it goes back to the fact that we just love real estate. We love what real estate does for people, and that's just one of those things. Like it provides a great opportunity for people to come to a beautiful place, to hang out in a beautiful piece of property. Have some great family time, rest, and all that kind of stuff. So we love that. We love even the hospitality side of it.
Huge.
So we've really enjoyed that
Yeah.
part.
And
Yeah.
we enjoy having the flexibility to stay there ourselves and,
Mhm.
have our friends go and stay. So there are some perks
Although
that
we
you
don't
have with
very
it.
much
We,
because they're
yeah,
booked all the time, which
they're
is
fully
great.
booked.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
People don't realize how big Airbnb is as a brand, as a company.
oh,
They're all over the entire world.
they
And
are.
like, it is remarkable. You go pretty much anywhere in the Western Hemisphere,
Yeah.
you will find Airbnbs. I was traveling in Latin America. They don't call it Airbnb, they call it B&B. And
Huh.
they're all over the place. And so here, we're looking at potentially, there's threats on the horizon. I mean, it's happened in Dallas where, in Addison specifically, I don't know if it's still like this now, but 2 years ago was the case where they at least temporarily, banned Airbnbs. But
Yeah.
having, a diversified portfolio and then also the ability to shift that maybe to corporate housing or long term, I
Right.
think can
Right.
also help people, hedge against that.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, for us, being in a market that has been a vacation market for decades, that becomes the lifeblood of the economy in Blue Ridge for sure.
Right.
And it's not one of the big ones, not like Gatlinburg, or the Florida Coast and stuff like that. But it is we have found that it's a stable, solid vacation rental town that we've done really well in
And it's great because they rent year round.
year round.
So
We have a couple of months that are like down season, but
Yeah.
they're booked 80% of the time. So,
In the
very
heavy
well.
snow.
well,
We don't get too much.
we don't
sun.
get too much snow here in Georgia.
Really? There's not, okay.
Not much. Maybe
I'm
Last year
wrong.
we
we
got
got a little
few
bit.
snows,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Not much.
it's not too
So
much.
I'm in Dallas, right? I figured Georgia, Dallas, but now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
we got so much snow this year. I said, "Where am I?" I said, "I moved up from San Antonio to Dallas, and now there's more snow." I was
Yeah.
worried about our animals. I said, "Oh gosh." But I'm curious that area where y'all are at. Are there a lot of out of state investors in that area? We get a ton over here. Do you see this trend as well?
Um, I don't know that we have felt that very much here. And I don't really know, honestly.
Yeah.
But just to be honest, I don't know. I don't know that I can answer that question with any
Christy,
certainty.
are most of your clients in that metro area coming to you for lending? Or are they from all over the state? Or are they from out of the state?
So a lot of the realtors that I have established relationships with, so I have some people in Gatlinburg eh, and all around here, So if they're pulling in people looking at investment properties, like I just worked with a guy from South Carolina. We actually walked him and his wife through the whole process. It was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I end up working with people from different states that are just investing.
Do you do any of the DSCR loans, Christy?
Yes, I'm doing one right now. My company's pretty great. We have a ton of investors for DSCR in-house, and we do all of our underwriting in-house. So it's a pretty sick deal. We have a lot of great options.
We're about
Yep.
to see some really interesting things in this space.
Yes. Yeah, we are.
I think about what we've seen, just the way things have changed over the last couple of years. And then the way lenders are going all across the country now with Zoom. And it seems like every lender that I talk with has clients in practically every other state.
Yeah.
Do you see, and do both of y'all see any, I mean, no one has a crystal ball, but do you see any trends in this way? Like, for instance, are you getting more people saying, I want to buy out of the state, or, I'm looking at deals elsewhere? Or do you think we're still pretty far away from that, where the average person may consider, investing across state lines?
I don't know that I've run into. I mean, the people that we talk to. I mean, we're helping them buy or invest here.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we have been connected with anybody like that. or
That's
seen any
something we
trends
would
here.
like to grow in. I mean,
Yeah.
I have some connections. I helped a guy local buy a property in Mobile, Alabama. So, when you find out about just a good fit for somebody and what, the house that he was able to purchase down there, had a low budget and it was a little over $100,000, but it's a great rental property, great cash flow. So, it's nice to know about those pockets that you can point people to.
I actually think that this makes a really good investment opportunity for out-of-state investors in this area, because if it's not inundated already with out-of-state investors, that means it's an opportunity. Here in Texas, so many parts of Texas, I can say the same thing for Florida. You have investors from like all over the country and sometimes the world.
Sure.
So you
Yeah.
really never know. You're having to speak multiple languages on any given
Yeah.
day, right? And so
Right.
I tend to think like these areas where I've had conversations with people that I never would have thought of, like Iowa, Cleveland, right?
Right.
Would have thought that, in Georgia area, there's maybe more, but I'm, I guess, pleasantly surprised that there's not. I'm actually maybe going to look at buying some motivated seller leads in that area just based off the feedback that you guys have given me here today.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds
Yep.
good.
Yep.
We are coming up on time here. Where can folks go to get a hold of you?
You want to talk about your
Well, I'm on all social platforms as close.by.christie. And I'm at Cornerstone First Mortgage, and I'm sure you can Google and find me there.
Yep. And we've got Instagram and Facebook at Life Legacy Plan for both of those that you can find us and some of our content that we post up there too.
Yeah, we've been documenting some of our journey.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Well,
Dylan,
thank you so much
thanks,
for
man.
having
Appreciate
us.
it.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.